The year is 1988, and the world watches, captivated by the shimmering spectacle of the Miss Glamour competition. A grand stage, bathed in the glow of 1,000 spotlights, becomes the battleground for dreams, aspirations, and, unfortunately, entrenched prejudice. Here, beauty is not just admired, it is meticulously measured against an antiquated yardstick, one that often excludes more than it celebrates. This is the universe we enter, a world where outward perfection masks deep-seated biases. At the heart of this dazzling yet flawed world stands Nia Thompson, a young woman whose inner radiance eclipses any manufactured glamour. Her journey is not merely about winning a crown, it's a quest to redefine what it means to be beautiful. She possesses an undeniable charisma, a magnetic presence that draws people to her, and a dedication to social justice that fuels her every action. She is not just a contestant, she is a force, poised to disrupt the very foundations of the pageant world. Yet, beneath the surface of this seemingly glamorous arena, a darker reality lurks. The competition is not a level playing field, but a landscape riddled with systemic biases. Nia, with her confident stride and unwavering spirit, becomes a target for those who fear change. Her participation, initially a beacon of hope, soon morphs into a battle against a system designed to exclude those who do not conform to its narrow standards. As the competition unfolds, the narrative tension rises, the initial sparkle of hope slowly dimming under the weight of prejudice. Nia's journey takes an unexpected and heartbreaking turn, the initial conflict emerging not from her lack of talent, but from the deeply ingrained biases of the judges. This pivotal moment is not just a personal setback, it's a call to action, the narrative hook that will propel Nia forward on her quest to create a new paradigm of beauty. The year is 1988, and the Miss Glamour competition is not just an event, it's a cultural phenomenon, a microcosm of society's aspirations and prejudices. The grand ballroom, a dazzling space of crystal chandeliers and velvet drapes, serves as a stage for carefully curated performances of grace and poise. Behind the scenes, however, lies a world of intense competition, where contestants vie for the coveted crown, each with their own dreams and motivations. The pageant is a symbol of tradition, a spectacle that reinforces conventional beauty standards, often at the expense of diversity. Nia Thompson, a young woman from a vibrant, close-knit community, enters this world with a unique perspective. Her childhood was filled with the rich tapestry of her heritage, instilling in her a deep sense of pride and self-worth. She grew up watching her mother, a community activist, fight for social justice, which shaped her commitment to making a difference. Nia's initial motivation to participate in Miss Glamour stems from a desire to showcase her talents and challenge the limited definitions of beauty. Her close friend, Sarah, a talented artist who has always felt excluded from the world of pageantry, serves as a grounding force in Nia's life. Sarah's unwavering support and artistic vision are crucial to Nia's journey. In contrast, the pageant director, Mrs. Eleanor Vance, represents the old guard, a staunch defender of tradition who views Nia as a threat to the established order. Mrs. Vance's initial disdain for Nia stems from her rigid adherence to outdated beauty standards and her fear of change. The dynamic between these characters creates a compelling narrative framework, highlighting the clash between tradition and progress. Nia's journey is not just about personal ambition, it's about challenging the systemic biases that have long plagued the world of pageantry. The relationships she forms, both supportive and adversarial, shape her path, adding depth and complexity to her story. The setting of the pageant, a glittering stage masking deep-seated prejudices, serves as a powerful backdrop for Nia's quest to redefine beauty. As the Miss Glamour competition intensifies, the polished veneer of the pageant begins to crack, revealing a web of hidden agendas and personal vendettas. Nia discovers a secret alliance between Mrs. Vance and a powerful sponsor, a conspiracy designed to manipulate the competition's outcome. This revelation deepens the conflict, transforming Nia's quest into a battle against a corrupt system. The first major twist comes when Sarah, initially a supportive friend, uncovers a hidden connection between her family and Mrs. Vance, a secret that threatens to shatter her loyalty to Nia. These intertwined conflicts propel the narrative forward, raising the stakes and setting the stage for a dramatic confrontation. Nia's primary goal is to win the Miss Glamour competition, not for personal glory, but to use the platform to amplify her voice for social change. Her initial obstacle is not a lack of talent, but the overt prejudice she faces from the judges, particularly Mrs. Vance, who views her as a disruption to the pageant's traditional values. This sets the stage for a series of challenges, from biased scoring to subtle acts of sabotage. Meanwhile, Sarah, initially just a supportive friend, becomes entangled in a subplot when she discovers her family's history with Mrs. Vance. This revelation forces Sarah to confront her own past and grapple with conflicting loyalties. The subplots deepen the narrative, adding layers of complexity and emotional resonance. As Nia navigates the competitive landscape, she forms an unexpected alliance with another contestant, Isabella, who also feels marginalized by the pageant's outdated standards. Their bond, forged in shared adversity, becomes a source of strength and support. This relationship highlights the power of solidarity in the face of injustice. The dynamic between Nia and Mrs. Vance intensifies, their interactions becoming increasingly fraught with tension. Mrs. Vance's attempts to undermine Nia's confidence only fuel her determination. The narrative is driven by these escalating conflicts, pushing Nia to confront not only the systemic biases of the pageant world but also her own inner doubts. The initial obstacles serve to solidify Nia's resolve, setting the stage for her eventual rebellion. The inciting incident arrives in the form of Nia's shocking disqualification from the Miss Glamour competition. This unexpected event shatters the illusion of fairness and reveals the deeply ingrained prejudices of the pageant system. It is not just a personal setback for Nia, it is a blatant act of injustice that ignites her passion for change. The disqualification is delivered with a dismissive tone by Mrs. Vance, who cites vague reasons related to pageant decorum, but the underlying bias is clear. This public humiliation serves as a catalyst, transforming Nia's initial goal of winning the competition into a larger mission to dismantle the system itself. The event is a turning point, shifting the narrative from a simple competition to a fight for social justice. For Sarah, the disqualification solidifies her doubts about the pageant world and intensifies her internal conflict. She witnesses firsthand the blatant prejudice that her friend experiences, which further complicates her feelings about her family's connection to Mrs. Vance. The inciting incident forces her to confront her past and choose sides. Isabella, too, is deeply affected by Nia's disqualification. She recognizes the injustice and finds a new purpose in supporting Nia's fight for change. The incident creates a sense of urgency, motivating the characters to take action and challenge the status quo. It is the catalyst that propels the narrative forward, setting the stage for Nia's revolutionary response. Nia's disqualification sparks outrage within her community, fueling her determination to create an alternative platform. She decides to establish Beauty for All, a pageant that will celebrate diversity and inclusivity. This decision marks the beginning of her journey as a social entrepreneur, facing new challenges in fundraising, securing a venue, and attracting contestants who have been previously marginalized. The initial obstacle is not just financial, but also the resistance from the traditional pageant establishment. Mrs. Vance, threatened by Nia's initiative, uses her influence to dissuade sponsors and intimidate potential participants. This creates a sense of urgency, forcing Nia to rely on her network of supporters and her own unwavering belief in her vision. A new character, Marcus, a talented but disillusioned event planner, enters the narrative. He is initially hesitant to join Nia's cause, having witnessed the corruption of the entertainment industry. However, Nia's passion and commitment inspire him to take a leap of faith, becoming a crucial ally in the planning of Beauty for All. Sarah, struggling with her family's connection to Mrs. Vance, becomes increasingly torn between her loyalty to Nia and her family obligations. This conflict leads her to uncover more secrets about Mrs. Vance's past, further complicating her role in the story. Her internal struggle adds another layer of tension to the narrative. Isabella, now fully committed to Nia's vision, uses her connections within the pageant world to spread the word about Beauty for All. She becomes a powerful advocate, recruiting other contestants who share their desire for change. Her actions help build momentum for the new pageant. The rising action also introduces the challenges of organizing an event from scratch, including finding a suitable venue, attracting media attention, and overcoming logistical hurdles. These challenges force Nia and her team to be resourceful and creative, highlighting their resilience and determination. The initial success of Beauty for All is not guaranteed, but their collective efforts start to create a ripple effect, challenging the established norms of the pageant world. As Beauty for All gains momentum, Mrs. Vance escalates her efforts to sabotage Nia's project. She resorts to spreading rumors about Nia's past, attempting to discredit her in the eyes of the public. This personal attack adds a new layer of conflict, pushing Nia to defend not only her vision but also her own character. Sarah's internal conflict intensifies as she uncovers a long-held secret about her family's connection to Mrs. Vance, a secret that could destroy her relationship with Nia. She is forced to choose between her loyalty to her friend and her family obligations, a dilemma that threatens to tear her apart. This subplot deepens the emotional stakes of the narrative. Marcus, while dedicated to Beauty for All, begins to struggle with the pressure of organizing such a large-scale event. He faces unexpected setbacks, including funding cuts and logistical nightmares. His internal struggle highlights the challenges of creating change in a world resistant to it. Isabella's growing influence within the pageant world makes her a target of Mrs. Vance's manipulations. She is offered a deal to betray Nia, creating a moral dilemma that tests her commitment to the cause. This adds another layer of tension, raising questions about loyalty and betrayal. The escalating stakes of the conflict force Nia to make difficult choices. She must navigate personal attacks, financial obstacles, and the complex web of relationships within her own team. The rising action is marked by increasing tension, as the characters face new challenges and their personal dilemmas become more pronounced. The intertwined subplots create a sense of urgency, as the characters' personal struggles become increasingly intertwined with the fate of Beauty for All. The narrative tension builds, setting the stage for the inevitable confrontation between Nia and Mrs. Vance, as well as the resolution of the characters' personal conflicts. The narrative reaches a pivotal moment when Sarah, finally confronting her family's past, publicly reveals Mrs. Vance's secret connection to a discriminatory organization. This revelation is a major turning point, exposing the true nature of the traditional pageant and undermining Mrs. Vance's credibility. Sarah's transformation from conflicted friend to courageous truth-teller marks a significant character development. Marcus, facing the imminent collapse of Beauty for All due to financial setbacks, decides to take a bold risk, leveraging his connections to secure a last-minute sponsorship. This act of defiance against the odds highlights his growing commitment to Nia's vision and his own personal growth. This marks a turning point in his arc, shifting him from a disillusioned planner to a passionate advocate. Isabella, having rejected Mrs. Vance's offer, uses her platform to speak out against the corruption within the traditional pageant system. Her powerful speech inspires other contestants to join the movement, creating a groundswell of support for Beauty for All. This act of solidarity solidifies her role as a key ally and demonstrates her own transformation from a passive participant to an active agent of change. Nia, facing immense pressure from all sides, experiences a moment of self-doubt, questioning whether she can truly succeed. However, she finds strength in the support of her friends and community, reaffirming her commitment to her vision. This moment of vulnerability allows her to emerge stronger and more determined than ever. These major turning points set the stage for the climax, as the characters' personal journeys converge with the larger conflict. The narrative tension is at its peak, as the fate of Beauty for All and the future of the pageant world hang in the balance. The characters are poised for a final confrontation, their individual struggles culminating in a collective fight for justice and inclusivity. The build-up to the climax begins with the final preparations for Beauty for All, as Nia and her team work tirelessly to ensure its success. The atmosphere is charged with anticipation, as the event draws near, and the characters are aware that this will be a defining moment in their journey. A minor confrontation occurs when Mrs. Vance attempts to sabotage the event by spreading false rumors about the contestants, but her efforts are thwarted by Isabella, who uses her influence to counter the negative publicity. This minor victory foreshadows the larger triumph to come, as the team begins to believe in their ability to overcome any obstacle. Sarah, having fully committed to Nia's cause, uses her artistic skills to create a powerful visual campaign that promotes the message of inclusivity and diversity. Her work becomes a symbol of hope and unity, attracting more attention to Beauty for All and further exposing the outdated values of the traditional pageant. Marcus, having secured the last-minute sponsorship, experiences a moment of doubt, wondering if he has made the right choice. However, he finds solace in the support of his team, and his confidence is restored, setting the stage for his pivotal role in the climax. A minor betrayal occurs when one of the sponsors, initially supportive of Beauty for All, secretly aligns with Mrs. Vance, attempting to undermine the event from within. This betrayal highlights the insidious nature of the opposition, but also strengthens the team's resolve to overcome any adversity. The build-up is characterized by a sense of both hope and apprehension, as the characters prepare for the final confrontation. The minor victories and setbacks serve to heighten the tension, setting the stage for the major resolutions to come. The alliances are solidified, the betrayals exposed, and the characters are ready to face their destiny. As the day of Beauty for All arrives, Nia faces her final personal challenge, a deep-seated fear of failure. She must confront her own doubts and insecurities, realizing that her strength comes not from perfection, but from her vulnerability and her commitment to her vision. This internal struggle is crucial for her character development, preparing her for the climactic moment. Mrs. Vance, desperate to maintain her power, launches one last attack, attempting to discredit Beauty for All by revealing fabricated secrets about the contestants. This final act of sabotage tests the team's resilience, forcing them to rely on their collective strength and unity. This sets the stage for a direct confrontation between Nia and Mrs. Vance. Sarah, having made peace with her past, uses her artistic talent to create a powerful opening performance for Beauty for All, a visual representation of the movement's message of inclusivity and diversity. This act of creative expression solidifies her role as a key ally and a symbol of hope. Marcus, despite the lingering doubts, takes charge of the technical aspects of the event, ensuring that everything runs smoothly. His ability to overcome his own insecurities and take on this responsibility highlights his growth as a character. He is ready to play a pivotal role in the climax. Isabella, having rallied the other contestants, prepares to take the stage, not as competitors, but as a united force for change. Their collective presence represents the power of solidarity and the transformative potential of beauty for all. Their final challenge is to showcase their unique qualities and demonstrate the true meaning of beauty. The final tensions build as the narrative threads converge, each character having faced their own personal challenges and now ready to play their part in the climactic events. The stage is set for the final confrontation, where the fate of beauty for all and the future of the pageant world will be decided. The climax of the story arrives with the opening of Beauty for All, a vibrant spectacle that directly challenges the traditional pageant's narrow definition of beauty. Nia, taking the stage, delivers a powerful speech, articulating her vision for a more inclusive world and calling on the audience to reject prejudice and embrace diversity. Her words resonate deeply, inspiring a wave of change and setting the stage for the decisive confrontation with Mrs. Vance. The confrontation between Nia and Mrs. Vance takes place backstage, where Mrs. Vance attempts to sabotage the event one last time. However, Sarah intervenes, revealing Mrs. Vance's discriminatory practices to the public, effectively dismantling her power and influence. This decisive moment marks the end of Mrs. Vance's reign and the victory of Nia's vision. The subplots also reach their resolutions, as Marcus, having overcome his self-doubt, ensures the event runs smoothly, while Isabella, along with the other contestants, showcase their unique talents and challenge the outdated beauty standards. The culmination of these subplots highlights the power of collective action and the transformative potential of beauty for all. The climax is not just about crowning a winner, it's about empowering a community and inspiring a movement. The success of Beauty for All proves that true beauty transcends superficial barriers, reflecting the rich tapestry of humanity in all its glory. It's a call to action, urging everyone to challenge the status quo and create a world where everyone is valued and respected. In the aftermath of Beauty for All, the traditional pageant industry begins to crumble, replaced by a new era of inclusivity and diversity. Nia's work inspires a global movement, with other pageants adopting more equitable practices and celebrating beauty in all its forms. Her journey becomes a powerful narrative of resilience and innovation, a testament to the ability of one person to affect change. Nia continues her advocacy work, establishing a foundation dedicated to promoting education and empowerment for marginalized communities. She becomes a sought-after speaker, sharing her story and inspiring others to challenge injustice. Her influence extends far beyond the pageant world, impacting society as a whole. Sarah, having embraced her artistic talent and her commitment to social justice, becomes a renowned visual artist, using her work to promote messages of inclusivity and empowerment. She remains a close friend and ally to Nia, continuing to fight for a more just world. Marcus, having found his purpose, becomes a successful event planner, specializing in creating inclusive and diverse events. He uses his skills to amplify the voices of those who have been historically marginalized. His transformation highlights the power of finding one's passion. The epilogue reveals that the legacy of Beauty for All lives on, inspiring future generations to challenge norms and celebrate the beauty within. The narrative ends with a call to action, urging everyone to embrace their unique qualities, stand up for what is right, and continue the fight for a more inclusive and equitable world. The story serves as a reminder that true beauty transcends superficial barriers, reflecting the rich tapestry of humanity in all its glory.